Hello and welcome. My name is James. I'm a recovering alcoholic. This is the Sober James live stream podcast where I'm your host and you are my guests. Feel free to chat in the chat box and call me live. Tonight we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, viewer. But until you get here, we're going to talk about the power in numbers when it comes to recovery from addiction, alcoholism. It's always with the groups. A power greater than myself? Well, immediately that can be two people. Two alcoholics in recovery is a power greater than one, and three is a power greater than two. We come together on this channel, on this live stream podcast, 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, between 7 and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Is this akin to an AA meeting? Similarities. Is it like an NA meeting? Yes, it's similar. NA, AA, SA, GA, CA, MA, NA. These are all 12-step recovery programs centered around the 12 steps founded in the 30s Alcoholics Anonymous. The fellowship of these programs is one element of the program of recovery. The program itself is in the 12 steps. Work the 12 steps and you will find freedom from your addiction or compulsive behavior. But can you do it alone? I was just at a meeting where somebody shared that they have tried to, hey Tom Sock, to go it alone. I have tried to go it alone before. The disease of addiction is an isolating disease in the first place. My disease wants me alone. It wants me alone. It will convince me to isolate, to be alone so it can get me. That's what I'm going to tell you from my personal experience is my disease of alcoholism wants me alone. It wants to, it's cunning, baffling, and powerful, and it will get you. Now, it is said that only a power greater than myself can restore me to sanity. I now believe that. I've tried everything myself to restore myself to sanity, and it doesn't work. A power greater than me, which I consider the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous to be, and the group of these meetings that I go to. You might think that the meetings and the people are AA, but they're only a part of it, but an important part. Group counseling, group therapy is used in treatment, substance abuse treatment, inpatient and outpatient. It is used in everything from coping with death to divorce to child abuse to trauma to car accidents. 2 is better than 1, more powerful than 1, a higher power. So the group is a higher power than myself, period, point blank. If you're out there wondering what they mean by find a higher power or a power greater than yourself to try to recover from your addiction, then just find another addict or alcoholic and talk. That's essentially what we do on here. That's essentially what you do in AA meetings, NA meetings. And it's because experience strength and hope from others. And it's a perspective thing too. First of all, I'm sick. I'm a sick person trying to get well. An alcoholic is not a bad person trying to get good. An alcoholic is a sick person trying to get well and stay well. Without wellness, one day at a time, I most certainly will drink. This is a day at a time maintenance treatment. Untreated, my alcoholism will run amok and I will be drunk before you know it. So I treat my shit every day through the principles and practices of Alcoholics Anonymous. One of those suggested practices is make meetings. Make it to meetings. Meetings are recovering alcoholics meeting. That's all a meeting is. Discussing the principles of the program. There's other groups as well. Faces and Voices of Recovery, or FAVOR, is an organization, and it involves a grouping of people in recovery. Celebrate Recovery is a Christian recovery program. It's the same thing. They gather. So, the title of this stream is I Get Drunk, We Get Sober. This is absolutely the truth in my vast experience over the past couple decades. Left to me and my own devices, I've gotten drunk every time. Now, I want to isolate. I want to be alone. I'm introverted. I'm an alcoholic. I used to drink just to be with people. You know what I mean? People scare me, or used to. One of the promises of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous is your fear of people will leave you. I'm still working on it. People are scary. People are scary, so I'm still working on that one. I'm not working on it on purpose. I have given my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand Him, but mostly tangibly the program. So I don't argue with the program. I just do as it suggests that I do to the best of my abilities. Progress, not perfection. We are not saints, and I'm definitely not one either. But it says do service work, so I do service work. That consists of anything from chairing the meeting to reading how it works at the meeting, to giving out the chips at the end of the meeting, to setting up the chairs, making the coffee, or taking a meeting to a rehab or detox. So I just did the latter. I just took a meeting to a rehab because the person that was supposed to do it, a friend of mine, is ill. And I'm not talking about like the Beastie Boys ill. I'm talking about like had a seizure and bumped his head ill. So he couldn't go. So whenever the hand of an alcoholic is reaching out for help, my hand will be there for it to grab. That's the responsibility of the alcoholic in the responsibility statement. As a matter of fact, that is a very relevant thing to read. I'm going to read the responsibility statement. The AA responsibility statement. I am responsible when anyone, anywhere reaches out for help. I want the hand of AA always to be there, and for that, I am responsible. This responsibility statement is a core principle of AA service. It was written by AA former Grapevine editor and trustee for the 1965 International Convention in Toronto. Bill W. expanded on the theme in an essay called "Responsibility is Our Theme." This encompasses exactly the topic of the evening. Alcoholics cannot make it on our own. I cannot make it on my own. Now, if you have trouble admitting that, that's a whole other thing. First of all, I can out loud admit that alcohol will beat me 100% of the time. Alcoholism will beat me when alone 100% of the time. Did I know this when I shot out my mom Dukes in 1980? No. I had to learn this over the course of 44 years of getting demolished by alcohol. I had to learn that I am not gonna recover. I am not gonna do this on my own. I'm introverted. I'm shy. My ego ran amok, and still can if I don't practice humility, and that will keep me alone in my own head, and that is behind enemy lines. Me alone in my own head is behind enemy lines. That means I'm alone with the enemy. I'm sleeping with the enemy. Me alone, I stand no chance. I've almost died when I isolate and get alone, when I push people away, when I insist that I am the highest power. I go the way of the drink every time, and that takes me jails, institutions, and death. When I am humble and I ask for help, or even help another person, or stay in the middle of the group, the wolf alcoholism can't get me. When I'm in the middle of the group, the wolf alcoholism can't get me. This hasn't always been this isn't my natural inclination to be with people, to group up, to go to social events, to seek communion with others. When I'm feeling depressed, anxious, in my head about my alcoholism, when my disease has me where it wants me, I'm not with other people. Which is one of the reasons why we do this live stream. I'd like to think that this podcast bridges the gap between those of you who are curious about programs of recovery like Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. Because it's hard. It's hard to go to that meeting. It's hard to check out this. I mean, there is a program called Adult Children of Alcoholics and Adult Children of Dysfunctional Families. I have a feeling that I could benefit from these groups, but I've never been. So reading about them and reading about the groups that occur, I'm like kind of shy. I'm not stepping out into one of these things. You know what I mean? I found myself saying, no, I'm not going to do that. Just like a lot of people say no to AA. I'm on the other side of it. I'll tell you straight up and down, Alcoholics Anonymous is one of the most beautiful things I have ever witnessed on planet Earth. And I've witnessed it for years. I've been observing, participating, and resisting even. My stubborn alcoholic mind will resist AA. It'll try to convince me that the group is not where I need to be. F the group. They're a bunch of douches. Alcoholism, my disease, and my addiction is terrified of AA, number one, because it knows. It knows. My alcoholism knows that it can't survive in those rooms. It can't thrive. It can't survive. My alcoholism. Now, I'm making this stream a short one tonight because I've had a busy day. Like I said, I just got back from a meeting. I haven't eaten dinner yet, and I need to take care of myself. Self-care. But I did need to touch base with you guys and try to get in touch with my dude Sigma. Not many of you are around right now at 7:48 p.m. Eastern time, but that's okay. You can catch this for what it's worth at a later time. But I did want to drop in and see who's out and about, and also mention that we recover. I get drunk. You get drunk alone. We recover. Now you might say, James, I don't ever get drunk alone. I drink with friends. Well, that used to be the case for me too. And one day I looked up and I was the only one at the bar. But alcoholism, man. I hope you can relate. What's up, ES? I hope some of you can relate to, well, the terrors of being alone with alcoholism. And like I said, I don't always have the time, the energy, the strength, the experience, and the hope to bring. But lo and behold, there might be one person on earth that runs into this dinky little stupid stream of the evening tonight, where I basically only have a little bit to share, and that little bit is stick with people in recovery. If you know one person that is also trying to quit drinking, quit using deadly drugs, quit compulsive behaviors, stick with them. What's up, Jaber? Adult Swim, common side effects. You should check it out. If you haven't, you'd like it. No, I haven't seen Adult Swim since Aqua Team Hunger Force. And C-Lab 2020, Squidbillies, in other words, my Navy days, when I was up at all hours of the night, fighting for your freedom and mine with the United States Navy. But Joe, you make friends. A lot of my friends, when I was drinking, they were drinking buddies. They didn't come with me to this side. A couple of them did on their own terms. What's up, Jody? Jody feels like everyone's abandoning me. I have abandonment issues. I don't know if you do, but I do. Probably. I'm not a doctor, but it seems to me that I might have abandonment issues. Maybe you do too, Jody. Maybe it's a childhood thing. Abandoning you, you might have to tell me a little more about that, Jody. How do you feel that way? Janice Stankiewicz. Hey, that's Polish. I like your last name, Stankiewicz. CZ, that's a Polish name, isn't it, Janice? Welcome. I do this podcast 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, between 7 and 9 p.m. Hit the thumbs up button and share it with someone you love. Also, consider joining the channel to support carrying the message. You can do that by hitting join here in the chat box. Join the community and be a group of people that together we recover. Just seeing you, Jaber, ES, Tom Sock, Jody, I've seen you before. Stankiewicz, Miss Stankiewicz. I don't know if I've seen you before, but welcome. There's people in my home group that I would miss if I didn't get to see. And I wasn't really a people person. I guess I'm still not. What's up, Mindsci? Girlfriend of 6 months. He's not talking to me after the 3rd binge I had since we've been together. This time I lost my job. She's never seen me drunk. So you have a girlfriend of 6 months after the 3rd binge since you've been together. Binge drinker. That was me too. And you lost your job. She's never seen you drunk. Well, God willing, she doesn't have to. I'd go to AA, Jody. I did go to AA, and I didn't stay. I resisted it with everything I got. My alcoholism resisted it. But that's where we recover, in the groups. In groups that are speaking of recovery, like this group currently, or most importantly, the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. No human power can relieve us of our alcoholism. Yeah, religion. I didn't like it either. I'm an agnostic. It's not by the way, it's not religion, it's spirituality. Who the knows the difference? I don't know. But AA is where I came every time I had no other place to go. And finally, 16 months ago, finally I came back and said, I need the God thing. The God is obvious. Hey, the writer of the 12 steps was an atheist. So you're not alone, Jody. You're not alone. There are a lot of people that have problems with the whole God thing. As a matter of fact, that probably is one of the core problems of alcoholism, is that we think we know. We have an answer for the God thing, why we're not all about it, and why it's wrong. What I learned was, who am I to say there is no God? Who am I? That's like saying I'm God. So what my sponsor told me when I asked him, I said, how'd you get God? Because he's an atheist. He was an atheist. He's 15 years sober. He said, he asked me 3 questions. He said, are you God? I said, no. He said, well, why do you think you know so much about God? You think you know there is no God? You think you know what AA should and shouldn't be talking about? AA has gotten millions of alcoholics sober. You can't even stay sober for 24 hours. What makes you think, James, that AA shouldn't be talking about God? And I was like, all right, well, fair enough. Then he asked me if I did believe in God, what does that God look like? And I said, it's, to me, it's an all-powerful, incomprehensibly vast thing that we cannot even understand or begin to picture. So it's not a man in sandals. It's just very all-powerful, loving, not wrathful, just beyond understanding. Like an ant trying to understand an algebra book. I don't understand it because it's such a power greater than me. And he's like, all right, well, that's a start. And then his third question to me was, have you ever prayed for the willingness to believe in God? And this was coming from an atheist telling me this stuff. A sober one of 15 years that follows the program. And I said, no, I'll give that a try because I'm so desperate. The bottom line for me was, who am I? Who am I to say that, to resist a spirituality, what the God word? I'm just about dead by my own hand, and I think I'm smarter than these people that talk about God. That's what did it for me. I may not know God. I may not have like an impenetrable, indestructible faith, but I do know that I don't know. I do know that my ways failed and has almost gotten me killed multiple times for decades. So that's how I opened up to the God word in AA. And then also the realization, Jody, about the realization that, well, I forgot what I was going to say. But just the fact that what I think isn't working. So when I had all these bright ideas about why they should shut up about God and how I don't believe in, and I had all these bright ideas about how they're wrong and this, that, and the other thing. Who am I? I'm the one that's like, crawling out of the gutter. So who am I to tell the big book that they shouldn't be talking about God? That's what got me. Who am I to say there is no God? That's what got me. So I pray now. I'll pray with you right now. I can't tell you that I know that there is an all-powerful being listening. But I can tell you that this is how it works. I am now humbling myself. I'm saying I'm not in charge. I am willing to put my faith in something other than myself. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to stay sober. And that includes getting on my knees and praying if I have to, because alcoholism is cunning, baffling, and powerful, and it will wipe the floor with me, period. End of story. I tell you that from experience. So I say, you know what? I don't know shit. Let me just get that book that y'all wrote, because I obviously don't know shit. Let me read this book. Y'all talking about God a lot in this book. I guess I better get on board. That's how it happened for me. There's also we agnostics in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, Jody. And this is an example of how we are more powerful than just me and you, Jody. You and me, Jody, together are more powerful than just Jody or just James, because I happen to have experienced what you're experiencing, a resistance to the God element in AA. But never forget, Bill W., the writer of this book and the writer of 12 Steps, was an atheist. The guy who wrote God So Much was an atheist. Never forget that I'm an agnostic. that you're going to have to introduce me to Jesus Christ himself for me to believe in Jesus Christ. I'm sorry for all you Christians out there, but that's just the way I am. I'm going to have to shake Jesus Christ's hand. I'm going to have to attend the crucifixion. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there, but I will put my faith in the teachings of Alcoholics Anonymous because it has proven to be a power greater than myself. It says, turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand it. I didn't do that for so many years. I relapsed for so many years. I'm doing that now, day at a time, one day at a time. I say, please God in the morning, and when I go to bed at night, I say, thanks God. That's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, atheists are debaters. I've never been an atheist. An atheist is someone that believes that there is no God as powerfully as someone that believes that there is a God. An agnostic is somebody that's just like, I don't know what either of y'all are talking about. There is no proof to one or the other. That's good, ES. Ceased fighting. Atheists fight a lot. But me, I'm the guy that says, where's the proof? Where's Jesus's bones? Where is the proof? I'm the guy that says no living human being can tell me what happens after we die, which makes perfect sense. And I still believe that no person that is alive can tell me what happens after death. That's just a fact to me. Now, the whole point in the God thing is that I'm not it. People in AA will tell you, you don't need to believe in God. There's one thing you need to know, though. There is a God, and you're not it. That's it. That is the whole philosophy. I'm not it. I don't control shit. I don't have to worry about controlling shit. And I can put my faith in the hands of, some people call him the director, the creator, but I'm not it. I didn't create it. I didn't create the universe. I may not know who, what did, but I know I didn't. So that's step 2 and 3 right there. Step 2 is come to believe in a power greater than myself that can restore me to sanity. I can't do it. How many hours, how many days have we spent trying to hash out our own insanity and try to be happier on our own power? And step 3 is made a decision to hand my life and my will over to the care of God as I understand him. My understanding of God, I just described it. Just an all-powerful, incomprehensible God. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell you that if I pray for rain, that rain will come. I don't believe that. I believe that essentially the same thing Einstein was an agnostic. He says to pray to a God for things is like childish. In Alcoholics Anonymous, we make sure to establish a conscious contact with God on a daily basis, praying only for others and no selfish means. You're right, ES. So when I started turning my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand him, it wasn't a bright shining light. It wasn't a miracle moment. I didn't see God in the clouds. But a certain amount of relief came over me. I can rest in the things I have no control over. Alcoholism is one of them. I'm powerless over alcohol. My life had become unmanageable. I can rest. I am powerless. God, take this from me. I have no power over it. And all I can say is I haven't had a drink in 16 months. When I was practicing this before, it was 7 years. When I practice this a day at a time, I can survive as an alcoholic, a sober alcoholic. So yeah, God is a thing in recovery. What's the difference between a boat and a ship? You can put a boat on a ship. Same difference between an ego and a God. It's said that ego, E-G-O, is edging God out. Ego, self, ego, is the core problem of the alcoholic. Self. What illustrates this for me best is the fact that I've never gotten drunk for another person. I've been drunk tens of thousands of times, and not once did I get drunk for another person. Even to get sober for another person is hard. Self-centered fear, self-centered motives, self-absorption, self-centeredness, selfishness. This is the alcoholic. That's why the 12th step is to do for others, carry the message to another alcoholic, to service, to serve others, to get out of ourself, altruism. Because ego is self is the problem, which brings us back to our topic of why the group is the opposite. It is said that connection is the opposite of addiction. Now, why is that? What is up with that? Why do they say connection is the opposite of addiction? I'm still trying to hash that one out, and I believe it will make sense at some point in my recovery. It's starting to make sense that we recover, I get drunk. We recover. I talk to another alcoholic every day. I text first thing in the morning. I'm texting he's becoming like a brother to me, another alcoholic. We're both, he's like 3 years sober. I'm a year and a half. We have had sobriety before. You know, we're both recovering. We're staying sober. So we talk about daily things in daily life. When you go talk to a non-alcoholic about this shit, they don't know what you're talking about. If a non-alcoholic, okay, so say there's me and a non-alcoholic having dinner in a fancy restaurant. The kitchen erupts into flames, quickly spreads to the curtains and the dining room. Everything is going up in flames. Everybody's panicking, headed for the exit. So my non-alcoholic friend gets up, grabs his coat, bounces, leaves his half a glass of whiskey on the table. Me, as soon as I see that there's a fire and a panic situation, I've already hit my drink. I've downed it because I know we got to leave. I look at my friend's drink. I have no understanding of how my friend left his drink undrank. I feel good. Hey, what's up, Teddy Bear? Thank you for becoming a member and supporting the channel with a couple bucks a month. Enjoy your perks. And I'm not talking about Percocets. Anyway, I look at the half a glass of whiskey, and I'm gonna drink that shit before I bounce. The place is on fire. I'm an alcoholic. There is not gonna be whiskey left on the table, bro. I don't care if there's a fire. I'm drinking that shit. If I'm an active alcoholic, now I'm not gonna even have a whiskey. But my point is, I don't understand the non-alcoholic's ways, and he doesn't understand mine. So when you get in recovery, to talk to another alcoholic in recovery is like, it's medicine. That is the reason. Yeah, all good, Teddy Bear. Thank you. Sorry, I love seeing people join. What's up, Mike Tucker? Yeah, and it still blows my mind too. Yes, like some people just don't drink the rest of their alcoholic beverage. Nah, I'm not gonna finish it. I've had enough. You've had enough? What does that even mean? Like when I watch a movie with some guys in like an office or something, and they pour a nice decanter, glass tumbler full of fucking brandy, and then they offer it to the other guy, and he says no. I'm like, what do you mean no? You're not an alcoholic, and you're not gonna have this tumbler of brandy? What do you mean no? That's basically what I don't get it. I do not get it. The non-alcoholic doesn't get how I don't get it. Doesn't get how I will obsess over that. If I left my whiskey on the table and the place was burning down, I'll be outside. I'll be like, I think I might just run in and get that real quick. I'm just gonna go in and get that whiskey. I left it on the table. It's silly. I'm just gonna run into this burning building and get my whiskey. Mike Tucker says, I took a bunch of friends out to eat at a French restaurant. They were all ordering drinks. Gotta say, they looked pretty good. Well, people drink alcohol because they like the effect. Yeah, it's gonna look good. Alcohol is... First of all, alcohol is an effective medicine for alcoholism. However, it comes with dire consequences, aka side effects like medicine. Side effects including jails, institutions, and death. Or if you're Mike Tucker, sleeping in a bush. Or if you're any one of us, various other specific hellish circumstances. That's for the alcoholic. Alcohol, which is what relieves us of our alcoholism, also comes with dire consequences, including jails, institutions, death, and bushes. So, we have to stop drinking it, or else we die, we perish, we get covered up with dirt, locked up, or we sober up. So we sober up. How do we do it? Well, the program of Alcoholics Anonymous is my sufficient substitute for alcohol. Alcohol, sure, it looks good. It never really tasted good to me, but I know it'll make me feel good instantly. We're not here to jerk each other's gherkins. We know it'll feel good. I know it'll feel good. But playing the tape forward, playing the tape through, as Mike Tucker reminds us, I know also, without a shadow of a doubt, because I've proven it to myself countless times, that it always ends in jails, institutions, and damn near death. Hospitals. You may say, well, I don't go to jails or institutions and hospitals whenever I drink. And I will say, just keep drinking. You'll get there. Drinking right now in the UK, it's midnight. I want to get sober. Chris, thanks for joining us. Well, there's only one requirement to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and that's a desire to stop drinking. I hear London has a good has a great program. Eric Clapton is an example of an anonymous alcoholic. Has released his anonymity. But Chris, I have a video on here of Eric Clapton telling his story of alcoholism. You might want to check it out. It's just look up Sober James Eric Clapton. It's just Eric Clapton telling his story of alcoholism. AA, brother. I'm gonna tell you, it's a program of attraction, not promotion, but I never hesitate to promote it because it's literally the most beautiful thing I've witnessed on planet Earth. And I didn't just take a glance at it and say, that's the most beautiful thing I've seen on planet Earth. No. I've been in and around it for 15 plus years. It's without a doubt spirituality in action. What's up, Rafe? Hi, James. Had a major health shock recently, and it really shook me. Probably closest I've come to taking a drink since I got sober. Well, good that you didn't take a drink. Now you can use this as a freebie, a free lesson. Why were you so close to taking a drink? Examine why you were so close. What was missing in your sobriety, in your serenity, in your program? Not because you're a bad or weak or stupid person, but because you're an alcoholic, and alcoholism is cunning, baffling, and powerful, and will find its way back in. Yeah, Chris, well, this is a good step. Checking out sober YouTube channels. I'm James. I'm a grateful, recovering alcoholic. Right now, I'm 16 months without a drink. Time is nothing. I'm doing this one day at a time. I'm as far away from a drink as you are. One arm's length. But I happen to practice a program of recovery that is Alcoholics Anonymous. Check it out. AA.org. I don't know if you're the group. We were talking about how the power in numbers. In other words, Chris gets drunk. We recover together with Chris. All of us recover. I recover, you recover, we're both recovering. But I will get drunk alone. You will get drunk alone. We can't do it on our own. That's the point of this live stream, and that's the point of the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. And that's the point of these kinds of chats and everything. Two of us is a power greater than one of us. AA can be scary before you go. After you go, you're just like, I don't know why I was scared of that. But Chris, when you become desperate enough, you'll do whatever it takes. And what it took for me was letting go of my stubborn ideas and taking up AA's. I listen to everything AA says, and I didn't do that at first. It took me 15 years to finally be desperate enough to just be like, all right, AA, I'll do the God thing. And they were right. They were right. Because they're a power greater than me, I'll tell you that. They being alcoholics, 89 years of alcoholics. Social anxiety is a part of alcoholism. I used to drink just to socialize. To combat it, it's another thing that you have to treat. Going to the AA meetings is a form of treating your social anxiety. Sharing at a meeting, asking another alcoholic to be your sponsor. These are ways that the program of AA has gotten ahead of us and is treating our social anxiety. Because let's face it, I never went to a social event unless there was booze there. Period. What am I going to do without booze? AA teaches me. Service work. You know what's good for social anxiety, Kim? Instead of thinking about when you're let's say you're approaching a group of people talking, instead of thinking about what you're going to get from them and how you might be embarrassed or how you might get hurt from these people, think about what you can do for them. Think about what you can bring to the group. Think about how you can help someone in there. That's called service work, and it's a big part of the AA program. What this does for me is it takes me right out of myself. I'm no longer worried about how I look or what I'm saying or how I'm going to embarrass myself or how to be cool and all that shit. I'm worried. I'm concerned of what I can bring. How can I help this person? AA taught me that. Social anxiety is a big part of the disease of alcoholism and addiction. That's because we're entrenched in ego. Humility will help social anxiety. I'm just a human. Humility and humanity are only 2 letters away from each other. Humility, humanity. Once you realize that you're not better than nor less than anybody else, your social anxiety goes away pretty quickly, but you have to practice it. So humility is a good way to combat social anxiety. You're not better than them. You're not less than them. You're just a part of. And that's a problem that we alcoholics all have in common. We don't feel like we're a part of. And that's where the meetings come in. You're now a part of a fellowship that's 100 years strong. Rafe says, hip surgery. I'm only 42. To me, it was a disaster, massive shock, but I will deal with it. Much better sober, obviously. I hear people with 30 years sobriety say that tons of their family members, not tons, but like people have died, dogs have died. In their sobriety, they have gone through hell. But they will tell you that a drink will not make any of it better. And that never really helped. I could never really relate to that sentence, but they also said if I can stay sober through that, the death of my wife, husband, mother, child, then I can stay sober through anything. Which is true. Hey, there she is. Miss Holly Ford. I can't do this without Holly Ford. You know what I'm saying? Holly Ford is a power greater than me. The presence of you guys and Holly is a higher power. You know what I mean? The group. And you will find groups not just like this one, but also in person in AA meetings and NA meetings and stuff like that. That's how you combat social anxiety too, Kim, is you walk right into it. And you can do that with a friend. One thing that in that room that you all have in common is we were all scared to death of walking into the room for the first time. Every alcoholic has social anxiety. What's the one thing that all alcoholics describe when they describe their first drink? Well, now I feel like I'm a part of. Now I feel normal. Now I feel like I'm part of the group. I can, dance, hit on women. I can do it all. Chris, Amazon order alcohol. It's a power greater than you, man. We are a power greater than you. And I'm glad to hear it. I will tell you, though, I've dumped bottles down the drain before with a total commitment. I'm pouring it down the drain. I'm never drinking again. Bro, I was drinking the next day. No human power can relieve us of our alcoholism, bro. You might shy away from God just like I did, just like Bill Wilson did, just like my sponsor did, just like almost everybody in AA does. But soon you find out that you may not believe, you may not even know who you're talking to, you may not even know who you're putting your will in, but you have to let go of your own ideas and stop trying to steer and control everything. And you have to give it up to God. So, when we get desperate enough, Chris, that's what GOD stands for, the gift of desperation, God. When I was desperate enough, I was willing to listen to the group. I was willing to listen to the suggestions of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. When we get desperate enough, it takes what it takes, and hopefully it doesn't take our lives. Hopefully we become willing enough before it takes our lives. Willing enough to listen, to take the cotton out of our ears and put it in our mouth. So, a good job, Kansas. That's the first thing you got to do to get sober, is stop drinking. And believe it or not, that's the easy part. The rest comes with taking a fearless and honest moral inventory, making amends with the wreckage of people that you have ran through in your alcoholism, admitting when you're wrong, making amends, trusting in God, not yourself. Where did you get you? That's the question. If I'm so smart, why did I get myself here in jail? Why am I now in a hospital bed? If I'm so smart and AA is so stupid, why are they out there and having a picnic and I'm in here in prison because I got drunk, blacked out again, and took out a family on the highway? If I'm so smart, if I know that God doesn't exist, if I know that AA is wrong for talking about God so much, why am I in jail and AA is out there for 100 years? Oh, shit. Oh, good, Rafe. Yeah, man. It takes what it takes. 847 days. Hell yeah. AA is the medicine for our sickness. Alcoholism. When we put the alcohol down, we still have the ism. Dry drunk. Have you ever heard of that term? That's because alcoholism is a disease, with or without alcohol. It's ism, not wasm. It's not curable either. It has to be treated with a daily reprieve, day at a time. Practice the principles in all of our affairs. Yo, straight up and down. So without AA, without practicing a day at a time, I drink, period. I've proven it to myself. What's up, Tivana? It's good to see you, man. I'm glad you caught a live stream. I do have to eat dinner and go to bed so I can wake up and work like the lame-o that I am. But it's good to see you, Tivana. And the rest of yous. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. ES says I just hit 1,000 days. Good for you, ES. I remember when I thought I could never ever make it to more than 10. I know. one thing's for sure. I was drinking every minute of every day. In the end, the last 5 years of my active alcoholism, I was drinking every day. If I wasn't drinking, it wasn't on purpose, but I was thinking about drinking. These days, I haven't had the obsession to drink in 500 days or more. That alone makes me consider the fact that I may not know shit about God and a higher power, because I can't explain that. I was obsessed with booze. Now I'm not. From taking the suggestions of AA, from listening to those who have come before me, and from facing my fears and going to an AA meeting, not once but twice, and not twice but 1,000 times. I go whenever I can. AA is my life. If it isn't, if AA doesn't stay in the forefront, if my recovery and sobriety isn't the first thing on the docket for every day, then I will lose everything I put before it. That's happened. That's happened to me before. Making it meeting to meeting right now, brain chemistry all over the place. One day at a time, I will get through with help from helping my fellows. You're right, and I'm glad you brought that up, Tivana, because I too will admit that sobriety is not just like a walk in the park. I have, this past year, I feel like I have just been falling down a flight of stairs the entire time. I feel like it's been a controlled crash. Awkwardness, feelings, sadness, anger, all kinds of resentments. These are all the feelings I used to drink over. Now I'm facing them. You know what happens with all this pain and awkwardness? Growth. Whereas before, I stunted my growth by drinking over what I was supposed to be feeling. Now I feel it, and it might hurt a little, but I come out stronger. I come on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays between 7 and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also, you can join. Hit that join button that's pinned at the top of the chat box. If you'd like to support and get perks as well. You just subscribe. You can hit the notification bell. Whenever I come on live, you'll get a notification to your phone. You gotta make sure you hit the notification bell and also turn notifications on in your phone if you want to see whenever I come on. Because admittedly, especially right now, one thing that starts happening the longer you stay sober and the more you practice the principles of recovery, trusting in God, cleaning house, and helping others, that is, the more life starts coming back in. So my life is filling up, and I have all kinds of stuff that's going on right now in my life. Social aspects. I got a class starting up Wednesday. I'm going to start studying to become a certified peer support specialist. No big deal, but for me, it's a big deal. I mean, I lived on the streets. Couldn't stay out of jail. And now I'm pursuing this thing where I can help other addicts. Anyway, my point is, right now, the streams aren't as organized, but I try to do an hour Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays between 7 and 9 p.m. Eastern Time, which is New York time. Click the notification bell if you'd like to see when I come on. I am currently going to eat some ravioli. But I'd just like to wrap it up by saying that we recover. I alone get drunk. And I can say that without any addendums, without any asterisks. I can say that without any alterations. I get drunk. We recover. That means, like, check it out, man. Stick with the pack of recovering addicts and alcoholics. Go to meetings. Check out these live streams. Talk about what's bothering you. Bounce it off of other addicts and alcoholics. A problem shared is a problem halved. And that goes with the problem of addiction as much as anything else. Time takes time, and it takes what it takes. We addicts don't want to hear that. We want to do shots and get relief now. Those shots, they come with some very dire consequences. Yeah, even though we hate people, our alcoholism hates people. You want to know why? Because people will be the death of it. Our alcoholism, the entity that lives in my brain, hates Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. It hates you guys. It hates all my AA friends because it cannot survive in their presence. So it will tell me in my own voice to F all of y'all and FAA meetings. And it will tell me in my own voice why, all these reasons of why. Because our alcoholism as an entity is scared shitless of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. And it's scared shitless of you guys being my friends. It wants me alone with a bottle in the dark. It wants to kill you. Don't get it twisted. Your alcoholism, your addiction wants to kill you. And it'll do whatever it takes, however long it takes, and tell you whatever it takes until it does. And, we recover. The group. I'll see you Wednesday and Fridays and Mondays between 7 and 9 p.m. Eastern Time with the Sober James Addiction Recovery live stream podcast. Thanks for helping keep me sober today. And until I see you next time, keep it clean, keep it real, and keep doing the damn thing. Peace.